first. I'm clicking and go live on Facebook right now. All right. Well, thank you for coming, everyone, today, Friday, fifth day, day 5. So I appreciate your time and watching our little show here today. And I'm getting great response from agents that are definitely watching the videos. Remember, if they're not going live and recording on Facebook, I'm putting up on my Facebook, and all the Century 21 HomeStar agents once a week. I'm going to email out all the slides, all of the recordings are on one email once a week. And anybody from any other offices, I'm happy to send you the slides and or videos. Just let me know what day you need. And if you don't see it on my Facebook and you want, I keep them. So it doesn't matter, even in the future, if it's a year from now and you want to go over a topic that we covered during one of these sessions, I'm always happy to send those to you. So just let me know. So I'm going to share my screen and start with the slides today. Here we go. All right. There we go. All right. So remember, of course, hopefully you're all remembering these 4 steps every day just to get ready for the day, get a little bit of motivation going for the day. Also getting your goals and things in order and prepare for the things you want to accomplish for the day. Also, hopefully you're making your calls and your texts and your emails and your Facebook messages and your comments and your posts and anything that communicate with people, that the workout of the day. And of course, always at the end of the day or the end of the work part of your day, to reflect and go over the things that you've accomplished and gotten done. So just like everything, that's an important part. And I know when I talk to agents every day, that's one of the things that with my coaching, with the agents that I coach once a week, I always say, what did you accomplish? And it always starts with their thinking in their head of what they accomplished for the week or for the last few days. You should try to write them down so you could even pull it up. Go, wow, what did I accomplish? I made these many calls, these many contacts, these many comments. I mean, but don't, the one important thing is don't spend a lot of time on it. I have some agents in the past, and I don't have any right now, that spend way too much time, because I really stress that, on organizing and tracking. They spend more time on organizing and tracking than actually doing. So tracking should be very easy. So you just could know, how much time you spent, how much calls you made. But if that's getting in the way of you doing it, I say, then continue just to do, but try to track. So you know what you're accomplishing, and try to do better. Because better, as you already know, I wish every single phone call, every single text, every single email resulted in an appointment and resulted in a sale and it resulted in commission check, but not everyone does. So you have to say how many calls you make result in an appointment, how many emails or how many texts result in a response back from someone. So keep track of those, and you'll see that you can get more and more and do better and tweak things so you could get the result more. You can get more appointments out of more texts when you see how many texts you sent out. So first today, a little bit of motivation. Respect other people's feelings. It might mean nothing to you, but could mean everything to them. So this is kind of the little bit of a theme of what today is about. Today is really about our customers and what's going on with them, especially what's going on now in the world. And remember to keep their feelings in front of your mind always, no matter what you're saying and what you're feeling. And in real estate, a lot of what we do every day is helping and handling and communicating with people and then selling houses. Especially our newer agents, I stress all of the time, and you all know it, and that it's a lot of dealing with people's emotions. And we're like psychiatrists and psychologists first, and then we are realtors after that. So right now, today is kind of focused on that you have to make sure that you are watching what your clients are saying, their body emotion. Well, if you can't see them, or it's great through FaceTime or Zoom, but listen closely to what they're saying. If you're seeing them, watch their body movements, because things can change with their emotions and their thoughts and what's going on a day-to-day basis. And sometimes we got to make sure we help them with those motions too. I've have agents, many sales over the years with agents that have had situations with people's lives where the goods and bad things happening, and we walk them through that and keep them focused and help them with their sales while life is going on around them. So that's a little bit of a theme today. So something to think about. A little bit what I was just saying is that always remember your clients have lives that can change at any time. Their needs and wants can change too. Carefully watch and listen to what they are saying every day. So right now, especially, I mean, you probably know from your own self, you have good days, bad days. All of a sudden your morning's going great, and then you're cranky in the afternoon, and your mornings are bad, and then the afternoons you're fine. If you have spouses or significant others or children in the house, this changes throughout the day. And you've seen through your past transactions that there's things that people are happening in people's lives that you're like, wow, I had to keep them on task and really focus them on, this is what we have to do today. We have to schedule the inspection. We got to deal with that. We got to make sure your loan is you get your loan to the next step and getting your pay stubs and W-2s. We got to make sure that, we schedule with the title company and figure out how we're going to close. Are you going to close in person? Are they going to come to you? Do you want to do a remote closing? There's so many things going on, but remember, when dealing with people, every day you got to take it as a new day. So yesterday they were in happy-go-lucky mood and everything's going well and things are happening, but then all of a sudden they had a bad day today because they're trying to teach their kids something on their school, or online school isn't working, or something's not working right for them in their lives. And then they take it out on you, or they kind of sabotage their day and getting what they need to get accomplished. Like an example, scheduling the inspector right away. The loan officer is telling you they need their pay stubs and W-2s, and they haven't given to them in over a week. And this is, as realtors, we've seen this happen. But right now, I want you to concentrate on, remember, this littlest thing to a lot of people just one day later could really just upset them in this whole process. And many of you probably have seen this happen. Maybe this has happened to you, where all of a sudden everything's going fine, and then the loan officer just asks for one more little document, like the third time they've asked for a new bank statement, and it just gets them all upset. Their whole day is ruined, and just take it out on you and don't want to deal with their sale for another day. So the focus today is those little stories I'm telling you, the different situations, is remember that you're there, you're the voice of reason, you're the calming person there, you're the professional that's there to guide them, and you got to make sure you're ready for a happy person, you're ready for a cranky person, you're ready for someone that's focused, or someone that's just their lives that day has gone crazy and they just can't focus on what you're asking them to do. So you got to be ready. It's kind of like you're like a sponge, or you're like rubber. You can't take it personally, but you got to soak it in at the same time. So I've had agents on at least a couple times a month. I have an agent, one or two, on the phone with me in tears because someone on the other end, their buyer, their seller, or the other agent, that I do have a pet peeve when agents start yelling at each other and getting each other all emotional about things when they're supposed to be the calm people. And sometimes I get pulled in, if some of you watching this as being your broker or manager have pulled me in some of those crazy email chains that you get into with other agents. So remember, you have to soak everything in and be there, but you also got to make sure that you don't take it personally and you're the calm. You can't be the one that's, your emotions are going crazy. Just like think of it as if you're talking to a doctor, you're talking to anybody for professional that's dealing with something that's very stressful to you. You don't want that person to go emotional on you. You got to be that calming thing. So right now, during what's going on, that's happening a lot. People ups and downs, especially when there's buyers that are putting offers on house. There's still multiple offers and things that are happening in their life. So remember that. Always remember your clients have lives outside that you don't see and don't know what's going on, and they don't always tell you what's going on, but you might get it, and you'll see it, you'll feel it in their tone. You'll see it in their face if you're doing face to face and or do Zoom or FaceTime. This is something you could post for the day. Just an informational thing, something to keep people updated on what's going on. That we do have a census that you could go to if you've gotten some things in the mail, and a little consumer alert. There are some false ones going out or scams out there. I actually got one in the mail, a postcard that said census on it, going to this website to type in some information, and I really read it, and it was a scam. It was a different type of website. It wasn't 2020census.gov. It was something else, kind of like census, where I was, if I went on there, I was going to type in some information that wasn't really the official census. So this could be something that you can type up, something like this on your Facebook post, and then put maybe consumer alert. People like to see that, like, watch out for scam. You could put that in your Facebook feed, and people draws their attention to it. They're like, wow, what's going on? What are you trying to warn me about? We all see this in our Facebook feeds, but something you could say is that, hey, watch out for postcards or mailers that look like a census that are really a scam of some sort that could watch out. So make sure you're going to the right website, going to the right place if you want to take take part in the census. And these are some of the things that why we have census is what helps people out, helps forecast housing needs, establish markets, assess potential spread of diseases someday. So census do help out. I know this could be especially in our world, there's a lot of, there are different ways of viewing things. Some people might view this as something bad. There's two sides, everything, but this is something that I feel that is a good thing. You can warn people about scams that are going out there and give them the right information. So just an informational thing that might get you some comments, some likes, and some shares. They might share this with other people on their page. Next, something you can do. So something you can do is before you refer any of your clients, especially what's going on now, to your loan officers, appraisers, or inspectors, title people, maybe you could call them to see how they're handling things with people. So if you already have a relationship with a good couple good loan officers and title people and inspectors, and that's great. But if you don't have a close, like, hey, you haven't used someone in a while, you're not sure, you might want to just connect with them just to see how they're doing before you refer people to them. So I stress this a lot because in 28 years in real estate, I've seen this happen many times, is that someone had a great loan officers or had several, or title people or inspectors, and things went great. And then all of a sudden there's something that just one time they did not give good service to a client. Something went wrong, something went sideways. Could have been part of the client, could have been service on the other people's end, and then they ruined a whole relationship. The point I'm getting at is that call them just to see where they're at in their business. Example, if you have a loan officer right now or that is extremely busy with refinances or things, so you could call them up and go, hey, I just want to let you know I'm about to refer a client to you. Just want to check out if everything's okay with you're taking on new clients. Almost everybody is, but just want to make sure you're busy for that. And then they could hear from them like, oh yeah, that's great. I will take care of them. Look out for this person's phone call, this person's text, whatever, and check out. They might say, oh my gosh, I'm so busy. There's things happening in my life or my family, or I'm not I'm not really working right now because I'm taking care of a family member. So you're giving your clients great service by referring them to people and double checking that those people are on the ball, especially with what's going on. I mean, we all know right now, especially over the last several years or more, 28 years ago, not to keep on dating myself, but loan officers met with clients face to face, sat there, filled out the loan application. They swapped W-2s. They went to the copy machine, copied their W-2s and pay stubs. Now everything's more virtual over the phone and online, but you just want to double check to make sure they're still, they're not overwhelmed with business. Make sure their underwriters and their processors and their banks that they deal with are on the ball. You could ask them how far are they out. Like if you have a 30-day closing or a 45-day closing, like how backed up are you if you are backed up. So you could find out before you just blindly refer to them. Same with inspectors. Find out inspectors. Maybe there might be a few inspectors that are definitely not kind of half staff because they have they're a bigger company, have several inspectors. There might be a few inspectors that just say, I don't want to go in any houses that are occupied, maybe just vacant houses. So before you check with them. And also title companies. I can't stress enough that I think that title companies are one of the most important part of it. The reason being, I mean, they're important no matter what, but they're the last people that usually connect with the clients. So if that closing, that communication of when they're going to close, make it convenient for them, letting your buyers know when they have to give their bring in their cashier's check or wire their funds, how that goes. Sometimes they remember the whole transaction that way. So if they have a bad closing, it's inconvenient for them. The title company tells them the morning before they need a cashier's check and they don't want to go to the bank right now, or they don't give them the right wiring instructions or whatever. Then they think their whole experience was bad and you're part of that experience. So make sure you deal with the title company that you have had a relationship or someone recommends, or or if you're, or I mean, you don't need, it's not that you have to recommend them. Is if you are on one side of the transaction, the other side or the other client refers a title company, you still could build a relationship. You have 30, 45, 60 days to build a relationship with that title company. Find out who's the person, all the people that are going to touch the transaction, who's the person that's taking the information, who's the person scheduling closing, who's going to be the person that's coming out, who's going to be the closer, who's going to be the notary that comes out, or how they're going to close. Remember, you're kind of the ringleader of keeping all of this together, because if the whole experience doesn't go as well as your clients want it to, that someone could mess up over here and it affects everybody's and how they view everybody in the whole transaction. So again, the theme for today is check with them, make sure that they're ready to help your clients the way they want to be helped. Let them know when your clients want to be called. Like right now, if they're busy during the day with their kids doing online schooling, or they are, more people are cooking dinner at home, so they're not taking phone calls while they're eating dinner. Well, which is great. I think it's great eating dinner as a family more because we're all at home. So there's a lot of moving parts. Even though we're at home, there might be more moving parts that keep the clients happy. So check with all of your service providers that you recommend and that are involved that you didn't recommend, that just happened to be part of the transaction because the other agent or the other client picked that. Last, things that you could say to your clients, again, is let's discuss some factors that will happen when we get an offer. So these are something that you could talk to your buyers about, the processes and procedures before they get to an offer. I'm a firm believer of giving buyers, when you first start talking with them, a copy of your purchase agreement that you're going to use, because they could go through that, and over the course of whatever time between the time you start working with them and find them their first offer that they put on, that they could read through the contract. I know a lot of agents don't do that. I think a lot of agents do the way we've been doing it for a while, like that's the first time the buyer sees a purchase agreement is when they're writing an offer and you're sitting there with a 6-page purchase agreement and expecting them by dot loop or online forms, or sending them the document and asking them to read it while they're stressed out about so many other things. So imagine if you just had a discussion with them at the beginning. It's like, here's the purchase agreement. These are the processes they're going to go through. Reassure them that, of what their needs and wants, especially over the next couple weeks, months, whenever we all feel more comfortable about things going back to the new norm, of what's important to them. Even though May 1st is coming up and we're here in Ohio, things are supposed to be opening up a little bit more, but people are still going to be the same way they are today. Some people won't be. So you really got to start talking, having a conversation with your buyers, how they want things, how to keep themselves safe, how they want things service wise, communication wise. And then also remind them that things might move a little bit slower and or faster depending upon the service. Example, the loan officer, their process, you have to ask them, they might be a little bit faster or slower because they might be overwhelmed with a lot of refinances. The inspectors you have to schedule an inspection like right away because they might be half staffed. They might be only booking one inspection a day, not 2 or 3. So things, you can't get an inspector out there the next day. Scheduling things with sellers, buyers, closings, you always got to make sure that you let them know that you can't guarantee everything is going to happen as fast as they want it to, but you're going to be there every step of the way. You're going to be their source. You're going to be their person that's going to find these things out. And it should be a minimum of a daily communication on everything on people. So one of the number one complaints I've ever heard of a client is, and it's the great news is very, 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 very few complaints about agents out there, or at least that I've seen in 28 years, because most agents do a great job and communicate well. But the one complaint is that sometimes is that they didn't feel that they were their agent communicated with them. And usually the first response from the agent is, well, they didn't call me. So the point of that is that communication from an agent is mostly sending out, you communicating. So when you have a transaction going on, always communicate, could be daily, several times a day, on things to show your buyer that you're there, you're doing things. Also, sometimes buyers at the end, even though they didn't need anything, say you started the transaction and you didn't let them know what's going on with their loan because you let the loan officer do everything themselves. You let the title company contact them and do everything, and you never once contacted your buyer or seller what's going on with the title work. At the end, sometimes they feel like, what did you do? What did you do from the time of the contract to the time of closing? Because you let everybody else do their job. Because in theory, the loan officer could be there's nothing you can do other than relaying messages, and there's really nothing physically you have to do with the title work other than communicate. And if you don't communicate, they go, what did you do? You just showed me some houses, you signed the contract, and then I never hear from you at maybe one other time. So that's not how to get referrals. That's not how to really watch out for their doing. Just because they're not calling you, asking things, they could be worried. They don't buy houses every day. They don't know, should I call my agent or this? Should I call my loan officer? Just remember to always let them know that you are their point of contact for anybody to help find those answers, or have them, those people call them. And then you'll also, when you're in constant communication with those people, you'll also make sure that that something doesn't blow up in your face, like there is a major problem, you didn't know what was going on, and then they take it out on you because you didn't know that there's a problem getting their documents. I've seen this happen. I can't count how many times I've seen this happen. Closings get delayed because the loan officer was busy. They were still waiting on a document that they asked the buyer to send them 2 weeks before that, and they never did, like a bank statement, a new pay stub, the tax returns that they filed while they were doing the loan application process. But if you knew about it or were communicating with everybody about it, you would have jumped on too and asked this buyer and explained to them how important it is for them to get those documents to them. Same with title companies too. So always be there and remember to look out for their best interests, make sure they're being handled correctly, make sure they're safe, make sure that the way they want things to close and how appointments to do and safe social distancing and feeling comfortable is more of a priority now than ever before, and that's being taken care of. So hopefully that helps a little bit of what we were talking about today is, again, what is happening with people. Let's see here. I'm stop sharing my screen there. There we go. And anybody have any questions on anything? If you don't, feel free to call me, email me, text me. I'm happy to help you out in any way and go over this one-on-one with you. And then we're going to do another one on Monday. And I'm going to send out an email if you get my emails, and I'll post on Facebook the topic for Monday. I'm going to try to do that every day instead of surprise you, because I've had a couple agents send me a text like, what's the topic tomorrow? Because I'm not going to be able to make it or I'll have to watch the video later. So they're asking about the topics. And so I won't try to keep them surprised. So that's it. Have a wonderful day. Happy Friday. Stay safe and healthy, and see everybody on Monday. Bye-bye.